Hey guys, this is Sunny from Rippin' I wanted to show you guys how to set up a punch rig. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can rig it. Usually use like beaver baits and pretty much anything you want to put for your punch bait. I'll just show you a few ways that I rig it and some things that I do and some quick little tips and what hooks you can use, bobber stops, how to put those on, and some knots that I use for braid. So alright, let me show you how to do that. So what I'm going to show you is a few of the knots that I do. One of them's the Bubtosh. I don't know if it's Bubtosh's, but it's called a Snell knot. And basically what it does is when you come through this eye, see if we can get this to show up. When I come through this eye, we're going to go just like this. We're going to go up through the eye. So we're going up and the hook's down. So it's coming through like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up through just like that with the hook down. You know, give yourself, you know, a little bit of slack here so you're not messing with a little tag. And what you're going to do is you're going to run the line across the top of the hook like this. And then you're going to come back over. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab it here near the end and you're going to come back across. And what you're going to do is you're going to do 3 wraps on the other side of this barb. And it's the same thing on the paycheck bait punch hook. You can use a wide gap. Same rule applies. So just use that bend as it would be like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back. You're going to take your tag in. You're going to slide your fingers all the way up over here, right near that barb, and you're going to do 3 wraps on the other side of that barb. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to take that tag and you're going to go through the loop that you created. So we're going to go just like that. We're going to go right through that loop and make sure that that line stays on the other side of that barb. Just like that. And then we're just going to pull it. And then tension it up, and then we're going to pull the other end. And then tension the side a little bit, and then pull it. And, you know, put a lot of tension on it. This 50-pound braid, so you can really pull on it. Get it all cinched down. So you want it to have a nice compact look like that. So let me see if I can get that to focus for you. You want it to have that nice compact look. And it's good to have a welded end where the loop comes together. If you can see that. That's a welded style. That's a welded style. The paycheck baits one is welded. So there's no edge there. And like on this one, do you see the line? It's not connected. So the line can get between there if there's enough space, and it can rip the line up. So on this is the Snell knot. And now what's good about this is when you have your, I'm just showing you the hook now, but I mean the knot, but when you have your weight on here, and actually it doesn't really matter about the weight, but when you set the hook, the line is on this end of the loop of the eye, which tips the hook up when you set a hook. When you set the hook, it's pushing down on the top part of that loop. So it's tipping it. So it's already tipping the hook into the fish's mouth. So instead of it being directly back from it and pulling with tension, what happens is when you hook a fish with the front part of the hook there, it's above the pivot point. So when you pull, it automatically wants to tip the hook down and away. With this rig, it wants to lift the hook. It wants to lift the hook this way. It's kind of hard to show you with this setup, but basically this is what it would look like. Now if I set the hook, I'll pull the hook, pull the line. It wants to pull the hook up. So Let me do that again for you. So there it is. I set the hook on the fish. It hooks right into him. So it gives you a little bit extra pivot pressure so that that hook will actually penetrate through his lip instead of pushing away, which you want to get every hook set that you feel. So let me show you how to the rigs that I'll use, and I'll show you how to put on a punch stop. And if I can show you, I'll show you how to save these if you want to save them. Alright, be right back. Okay, so what you're going to do first when you're doing your rig is we're going to take a punch stop. You can get these at Tackle Warehouse. I'm pretty sure Bass Pro Shop has them. A lot of places have them. Just look up weight stop or punch stop or bobber stoppers. You're going to take your line and you're going to put it through the loop. So you're going to go like, put it right through the loop. Bring it up so you got a little bit. And then we're going to take the bobber stopper and slide it off of that, and it's going to go over your line. So it's doubling your line right there, and it's hooked. So you're just going to slide your bobber stopper all the way up until it goes past the tag end. It goes kind of slow so it doesn't burn the rubber of your bobber stop. You can use two. I like to use two on the 1 ounce style or anything bigger than 1 ounce. That keeps your weight from sliding up. We're going to take the weight, slide the weight on there, and the weights that I use have I put inserts inside of them. I don't like metal to metal right on my braid. It'll rip it up, especially with the 1 ounce and bigger. So after the weight's on, you're going to take a bead. It can be a glass bead, it can be a plastic bead. These ones are just jewelry beads, like kids, things that kids would make for bracelets and stuff. You can buy these pretty cheap, Walmart. They also have the tungsten weight beads. I don't like to use these when I use a Palomar knot. If you use just a Palomar knot, the knot's on top. With the Snell knot, the knot is not on top, so you never get the crush and the slam of the weight coming back down on the knot. So it's not going to keep hitting it and smashing it back into the top of this metal. If you use a plastic bead, it will protect it a little bit, but it still hits into it. If you use this, it's even worse. It will actually slam into it and cut it up every time it's hitting it. It keeps beating it up, and you'll find yourself breaking off. So for this, I'm just going to throw on a plastic bead just to show you guys. So you're going to put your bobber stop on, your bullet weight, plastic bead, and then we're going to take our punch hook, and we're always going to put the line through with the hook in front, take the line over, and we're going to make that loop. So it's going to be about right there, so I have enough slack. And then bring your fingers right up to that little barb and keep the line on the other side of your fingers here. So then you're just going to do 3 wraps. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to take the line and go through the loop. Pull it out. And then we're going to take the main line, snug it. Make sure your lines get all nice and neat. Go slow when you're doing this. Make sure your line doesn't get caught over the barb. Pull it. It looks pretty good. Now I can cinch it down. Put your finger in the back part of the hook, not in the front. That would hurt. And just pull your line. And you really want to get some good tension on it. You want to really get those snug down. And what I like to do too is I'll take a little bit of glue and I'll just dab it on the knot. Probably where the 2 lines come together, right there. Just a tiny, tiny little drop, just to keep them from slipping and whatever. I don't know. I trust having with glue, even though I've never had a problem with it. But you'll just cut your tag off, if I can cut it. So there you go. So this is what I was talking about the knot not being on the top of the hook. So this is actually a really smart idea for a heavy bullet weight. The knot is not on top. It's under and being protected. So the line is in the front, if you can see that. So it's not going to be slammed down on every time it moves. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get our bait. This is just a sweep Eva. You can rig these ones. You can rig any way you want. If you want the brown side up, red side up, just do it. We're going to go a little bit into the bait. Not all the way to the bend. I'm going to go a little bit less. Come through. Get that barb past. Then we're going to stick that bait, that hook, just through enough that it's almost coming through. Pretty much just like that. You want to make sure it's centered. So it'll look like that. The hook's not coming through, it's weedless. So it's like that, and then I'm going to pull my bobber stop down to the weight. And you don't have to put it all the way tight. I mean, you can just leave a tiny little bit of play in there, so you get kind of a little bit of movement. So that's your punch rig. You can also do a punch skirt. I just want to show you that because then you won't be able to see what's going on here. So this will keep you what happens with these. This is the bait keeper on the back. Just keep it from sliding. So this is it, and see if I can show you guys the movement of the hook here. So when I push down on the bait, on the weight here, when I pull up on the line and push down on the weight, see how that wants to kick out? It wants to hook that fish right when you set the hook. Deadly. So that's the punch rig. You can also use, like I said, you can use the Palomar knot, or any knot that you use that's going to be on top of the line, where the knots are up here. But it's really not a good idea when you're using a heavy weight, unless you have some kind of cushion in there to soften the hit to the knot from the weight hitting down on it and between the bead. So like this, the bead is sitting on top of that hook. It's not touching the line. The only thing that's touching the line is the sides. So it's rubbing on the line. So there you go. I hope that helped. I hope that you guys could see this. It was nice and clear for you. I did it in this angle so that you guys could see it as if it was in your hands. So there's the bobber stop, and like I said, you can use 2 bobber stops. You just put another one on, same way. Let me show you real quick if I can get how to save your bobber stoppers, so you don't, if you run out of bobber stoppers while you're out, kind of stinks. You have to use pegs, stuff like that. Now the hole in this is super small. If you take the piece that you got and you lick the back of it, or just put a little bit of saliva on the back, if you get the tip of this back in that hole, let me just see if I can do it here. I'm trying to look through the camera and look at you guys too. So there we go. Takes a couple tries until you get it. And you can just pull that back. So it's not pretty, but there you go. Your bobber stop is back on there, and you can reuse it. And usually you'll know which one's the one that you reuse, because when you put it back through, this thing won't be so straight. See how these are all smooth and got loops on them? This one will be all kind of messed up a little bit, but you can just put your finger on it and spread it back out and put the line through. So there you go, guys. Hope that helps you out. Hope you guys catch some big old fish this year. Team Rippin' Lips. See you guys later.
that, when we come to the close of this